Hello, beautiful people. This is Nana, and welcome back to Ejima. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about should you move to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2021. So if you're interested in getting my opinion, a regular person who moved here, not a realtor, not trying to sell you anything, not trying to promote anything, just my honest, raw opinion about whether you should move to Charlotte this year. Stay tuned. So a disclaimer, before we get into this video. Nowhere is perfect, I say it all the time. Every area has its pros and it has its cons. All right, there's no perfect, there's no utopia, there's no place that has no negative issues, there's no place that you're gonna go to and not find a couple of things that you're not that comfortable with. That's just impossible. I have people messaging me, I have people DMing me. A lot of people are always asking me questions about Charlotte. Should I move? Where can I find a reasonable apartment price? What areas would you suggest? And to be honest, I don't know it all. I'm learning, but the one thing I can say is that I'm here, but I'm present. Right? So what I've noticed just by meeting people, every day I'm meeting more and more people. There's people that have been in Charlotte for years, longer than I've been here, right? But not everyone has my personality, right? Not everyone is inquisitive. Not everyone talks to people to get information. Not everyone cares about going out. Not everyone cares about trying new food places. You know what I mean? So I just want us to not think that just because someone has been somewhere for 10 years, they're gonna know everything. That's not true. That is not true, because at the end of the day, like I said, I do think that once I'm here like for 1 or 2 years, I would be able to be like, wow, like I really, really know Charlotte, right? But at the end of the day, it's not always time, right? It's about what you do at that time. For an example, there's people that date for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They break up after that, things will work out. And that same person will go meet someone in a year and end up being happily married, right? So like just because you're with someone for a long time or you live somewhere for a long time doesn't mean you know everything about it. Because some people literally just go to work, maybe go to their religious gathering place and come home and go to the grocery store. You know, everyone is different, but for me, like I always mention, when I moved here, I wasn't working for like 4 months. So I had a lot of time to explore on my own. A lot of things that probably, if I were to move, like a typical person move somewhere, then they start working like the next Monday or like in a week. I didn't have that experience, right? So I had time to move around, walk around, go places, discover things, you know? And I feel like if I didn't have that, I wouldn't know most of the things that I know now. I'm just being honest, because I really had a lot of time to just be on my own and really just explore living in a new city. Another thing I just want to mention is that I've only lived in 2 other places besides Charlotte. So I went to school for my first degree. I went to Temple and I lived in Philadelphia. And then outside of that, I've only lived in a town called West Orange, New Jersey. So I only have 1 other city to really compare my Charlotte experience to. So I meet people and they're like, oh my God, I've met people that straight up move just like, I don't think Charlotte's for me. I don't think this place is for me. But then like, I'm like, well, compared to where I'm coming from, this is the best that I've experienced. Do you get what I'm saying? So like everyone's reference point is gonna be different based on where you're coming from. I don't know if maybe if I was coming from LA, I would think Charlotte's anything special. You know, if I was coming from Houston, I would think Charlotte's anything special. I don't know. I've never lived in a city besides Philadelphia, and I cannot stand Philadelphia. I would never recommend anyone to live in Philadelphia. I would never go back to live in Philadelphia. I did not like it. So for me, Charlotte is like a pleasant extreme. Like Charlotte, I love Charlotte compared to living in Philadelphia. Should you move to Charlotte in 2021? Right now, it seems like Charlotte's about to like getting all this hype, and so many people are trying to move down. A lot of people complain about it just eventually is going to get saturated, and it's going to be so many people, so many transplants. You know, in my last video, I'll link it here. What I wish I knew before moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. A lot of people in the comments, oh, well, it's you transplants, so you guys are the reason why Charlotte's like this, because you guys are rude and you guys are I'm like, whatever. Everyone from the north or from another place besides the south is not rude. I'm from the northeast, I'm not rude. If I see someone, I say hello. If someone enters the elevator, I say good morning. Like, please, let's stop generalizing. Like, just because you are from up north does not mean you were not raised with home training. Maybe it's the culture I come from, maybe that has an impact to do with it, but I am not rude, all right? So please, miss me with that. I have manners. But anyway, just people just gonna say whatever they want to say. Like the people down south are like angels, and like everyone else is just mean, angry people from the West Coast and East Coast. Number one reason why I still feel like you should move to Charlotte in 2021 is that down here doesn't have the space issue that a lot of other places have, right? So even if more people keep moving and moving, yeah, but like there's land. There's open space, like apartment complexes are being, but right now I'm looking at my window now. I wish I could show y'all, maybe after I put a clip. Right as I'm looking to the left in my window, there's an apartment building being made. Like it's not crowded. Like there's space for that growth. The issue is when there's certain areas that have all this rapid growth and the area cannot contain the growth. You get what I'm saying? Like this is not an overpopulated city. I can't even imagine how it was 10 or 20 years ago. It must have really been empty because it's not overpopulated. Like you walk down the street and it's still like, what? Like, I know maybe COVID has a part to do with that. People probably did leave. But most of the people I'm meeting moved during COVID. Like, you know, a lot of people I meet moved during COVID. So I'm not alone. I thought it was crazy because I moved during COVID, but apparently that was the wave. So I definitely feel like there's a space to hold other people. Okay. Another pro I would say why you should move to Charlotte in 2021 is that I feel like it does definitely cater to a younger crowd. If you're a millennial, I feel like this is a place to be, right? Like I came from like a suburb, like always talk about like people are there with their families, kids and dogs. Like I just felt like I didn't fit in. And I felt like being in a place like Charlotte, no matter what area you choose, whether you choose to be in South End, whether you choose to be in Noda, whether you choose to be in Uptown, I just feel like you blend as a millennial. Like there's so many things that are catered to us. So I feel like that's a great thing. Another reason I'll say you should move, the apartments, you know, you can get reasonable stuff down here. Like everyone, it depends where you're coming from, right? So the other day I was at work. I was talking to my coworker. She moved from upstate New York like years ago, but she lives in Concord. We'll get to this whole Concord thing later. And I told her my rent and she screamed. Like literally, she like, that's my mortgage. And I'm like, but I live in the city. Like you cannot compare apples and oranges. Like I don't live, she claims that when she first moved down here, she lived in Matthews and she paid like $800 for a 1-bedroom. So you'll meet a lot of people that are saying, oh my gosh, Charlotte's so expensive, rent's so expensive. But like, these are people that have never lived in the real Charlotte. They've never lived in this area. You get what I'm saying? So like their perception or their prices they're comparing stuff to are just not realistic. You get what I'm saying? Like it's not realistic. Like if you come from a place like I'm coming from, northern New Jersey next to New York, and I tell you can get a nice apartment for $1,000, even $1,300, $1,400 for many people, that's cheap. Because this same apartment, if you were to take it to where I'm coming from, will be $2,000. Easily $2,000, $2,200, $2,400. So, you know, so like for a lot of people, a 1-bedroom, $1,400, $1,500 is not expensive. But for a lot of people, it's like, you know, because they're coming from areas outside of the Charlotte area. Maybe they're in Salisbury, maybe they're in Concord, maybe they're in Winston. Like maybe they're in areas that are outside and they're using those areas as a gauge. But like you have to compare Charlotte to Charlotte. You cannot compare living in Uptown to living in Salisbury. Or living in Uptown to living in Matthews or living in Concord. It's not reasonable. So I feel like for the apartment scene, you could really, especially during this pandemic, I keep honing it in and in, like this is the time. And I feel like if you really wanted to move to the Charlotte area, at least for my research before I moved, the things I was seeing, I know how quickly prices drop. I know how I saw prices I never had seen before. You know, so I definitely think housing we'll get to, that's another story. So I think now is a good time if you're trying to rent. Now is a good time to move to Charlotte. Other thing I would say is that Charlotte's in a very good location that so many major cities are drivable. For example, if I want to go to Atlanta, which I haven't driven there yet, I'm a mess. 3.5, 4, let's say 4 hours. For some people, that's nothing. For me, it's a lot still, but for some people, that's nothing. You want to go to Columbia, maybe an hour and a half. You want to go to Raleigh, I believe Raleigh is hour and a half to 2 hours. You know, you want to go to Winston-Salem, that's an hour. You want to go to Greensboro, that should be about 45 minutes an hour. You want to go to, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like it's essential. People drive to Tennessee. You can drive to different parts of South Carolina outside of Columbia. Like a lot of places, Myrtle Beach, a lot of places are drivable. So that's something that, you know, can make travel a little easier because you don't always have to worry about, oh, I need to get in the plane to go here. I need to get in the plane to go here. You just get in your car and go. You know, you could be just spontaneous. A day you're just feeling a little bored. Okay, let me drive places. Not to say Jersey didn't have that, but I feel like Jersey is really thinking, okay, New York, and then Philly, which I don't care for, and then DC. I don't know. I just feel like I have more places I could drive to in a reasonable distance that actually have stuff to do, not driving to the middle of nowhere. And then another reason why I feel like you should move to Charlotte in 2021 is the weather, right? So there's warm winters, right? So for someone that really wants to escape the cold of the Northeast or other places in the Midwest, it's definitely a good climate because it still gets cold. You get what I'm saying? My heat bill, if I tell my electric bill, has been $100 something every month. 100, yeah, then this month's like 111. Like, don't sleep. It's not like we're not in Florida. We're not in somewhere that is blazing. You will still experience cool weather. Because I know some people's concerns, I don't want to be somewhere that's too hot. I don't like the heat. For me, I love the heat. But everyone says don't say that until I have not experienced a Charlotte full summer yet. Because remember, I moved in August. So people tell me, don't say that until you experience the full summer. But I love the heat. I love being hot. I like getting my vitamin D. I don't like sweating. I understand that concern, but I like being hot any day. So at least here you get all the 4 seasons, but it's still like the winter's not bad. Like I barely wore my winter jacket. Yes, sometimes I overdid it. Sometimes I needed to get that jacket. This is what I would do, y'all. I used to keep my winter jacket in my trunk, right? Because it was just so ridiculous for me to go and grab it every morning when it wasn't that cold. So at least if it was in my trunk and somehow I messed up and it was really cold, I had my winter jacket there. Granted, it would be cold because it would be sitting in the cold, so that kind of didn't make sense, but I digress. And also too, it's just like a good melting pot. I feel like it's a good place for networking and meeting people because like all the people I meet, like they're from so many different places. So, oh, this girl's from Florida. This girl's from, I met a friend from Canada. You know what I mean? You meet someone from DC, you meet someone from Ohio, you meet someone from here. Like I feel like how many other places can you live in and meet so many people from different states? Like that is a luxury, right? Because like where I'm coming from, most likely if you're in New Jersey, most people there are from New Jersey for the most part. Not everyone, you know, some people come and move to New Jersey to get jobs in New York, but most people I would meet would be from New Jersey. But here is not so. Like it's actually rare to find a real Charlottean. It's actually rare to find a real North Carolinian. Like it's not that common because most of the people living here that actually would want to pay these prices are people coming from other cities, so they value these prices. They view it as like, oh, this is reasonable. But like most of the people I know, like family members I have the other part, would never pay these prices for anywhere to live because they're just not used to it. So yeah, those are advantages. Those are pros, right, Ejima? So you know, I'm always gonna come with the cons, right? And please, y'all, relax in the comment section. Every place has cons. Don't take it personal. I'm not disrespecting your state. I'm not disrespecting North Carolina. I'm just saying it how it is. New Jersey, if you guys want me to do a video, I'll list the cons from here I'll list 20 cons from where I came from. That's why I left, right? So I feel like one of the reasons why I can understand why someone maybe wouldn't want to move to Charlotte is really if you're looking to buy a house. I know it sounds weird, right? Because right now really is not a buyer's market. Like people will hype, oh, this real estate, this, then buy a house, don't rent. You know, all the stuff people are saying on Instagram these days that don't make sense. But the buying market, it depends on where you want to live, right? Like everywhere is not, like right now the buying market in Charlotte, as someone has actually done my research and looked into it, it's not a good time to buy. Like houses are very expensive. You put up an offer, people are gonna put up like way more than you put up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for basic houses that are old, that need maintenance, and like even the building, you go to some of these already like these places that build, like you can get your own house made. It's like it takes a while too. It's not like you can say, oh, I want to move there, and like they have waiting lists. They have like first in the waiting list, second in the waiting list, third in the waiting list. So even if you want to go to like a new construction home, you may not even get in there for like a year or months and months. It's not like you're just gonna buy it and move in there next couple of months. That's more only for these old houses out here on the market. And then it's just very competitive. Like the pricing is, and then like a lot of the housing, of course, it caters to families. So like if you're single, like for me, I say it over and over on this channel, I'm never gonna budge. I'm not against home buying, but I just don't see why I would be sitting in a 3-bedroom house by myself with a single woman with no children. Like to me, it's just weird. I'm gonna be paying a heat bill for the whole house is just me. I'm gonna be maintaining the whole house is just me. Like I don't need a 3 to 4 bedroom house. And the new construction, that's what you're gonna find. They're not building many 2-bedrooms anymore. Even a 1-bedroom condo is hard to buy. And you know, people think about their resale value. Like you're gonna most likely be able to sell a 3-bedroom house better than a 2 or 1-bedroom house. I don't need 3 bedrooms, right? So if you're really trying to buy and you're like single, maybe you don't have family, and you're like against renting, I don't know if Charlotte's the place. Like you might have to go to the Charlotte, what they call greater area, which a lot of people confuse for actual Charlotte. Like Concord is not Charlotte. Huntersville is not Charlotte. Kannapolis is not Charlotte. Nothing wrong with those places, but a lot of people will pose those places as Charlotte. Like in the Charlotte greater area, that's not Charlotte. Like, do you want to drive 40 minutes to do stuff in Uptown? You know what I mean? Do you want to have to get 30 minutes? Like, for me, I don't like driving, so I'm going to be very biased. If you don't care for driving, fine. You know what I mean? It may not be a big deal for you, but for me, I want to live in Charlotte, right? Also, let's clarify that Mecklenburg County is the county Charlotte is in, but there are other cities in Mecklenburg County. So that's one thing that used to confuse me when I just moved here, because I'm coming from New Jersey, and the way it works is that we have the counties too, of course, but our towns or cities are not as big. So Charlotte is so huge, you end up thinking that it's like its own county, its own city, like it's just Charlotte. Like, no. Charlotte is in Mecklenburg County. Also in Mecklenburg County are places like Huntersville. That's in Mecklenburg County, but that's not Charlotte, right? So I'll make a list to put like all the towns, or what I say, cities in Mecklenburg County. Another reason why I can talk a lot about these different areas is because your girl been on the move. Like, I haven't just been saying, oh, I live in Charlotte, I sit in the house. Like, that's just not what I've been doing. Like, even my job, we've been having vaccine clinics all over Mecklenburg County. We will not service you if you're not in Mecklenburg County. So it came to the point, like, every once or twice a week, I would drive in a different parts of Mecklenburg County, and I could not believe, wait, I'm in Mecklenburg County. I went to Davidson. Yes, Davidson, where I know as Steph Curry's town. Like, that's the only reason why I even know what Davidson is. And I'm just like, it's still Mecklenburg County. I can't believe it. I just drove for 30 minutes all on the highway. This is Mecklenburg County. So like, don't get it twisted. Like, Mecklenburg County is not Charlotte. Charlotte is in Mecklenburg County. But the difference where I'm coming from in New Jersey, let's say I compare Charlotte to like a big city in Essex, like it was like Newark. Then Newark is in Essex County, same way Charlotte is in Mecklenburg County. But the difference is that Newark is so small. Like, for me to even go from one side to the other side of Newark, yeah, it's mind you, this is like one of our biggest cities in Essex County, but you cannot compare it to the size of Charlotte. I'll get statistics and put it on here. So, like, Newark will have different sections. Like, there's Ironbound, there's downtown Newark, there's I think East Newark, there's this Newark. So same thing with Charlotte, but like Charlotte literally has like, I don't even know if you can count, like, so many neighborhoods, and some of these neighborhoods don't even have a name. They go off of like their streets, they go off of the air. Like, it's so weird. Like, not every part you can say, oh, this is Uptown, this is Myers Park, this is Noda, this is Balance. Like, there's certain parts I've gone to look at property and the guy can't tell me what part of Charlotte I'm in. I'm like, huh? What part of Charlotte? Well, you know, we're resident, like he said, whatever we are. He named some term they use, like they call like the community, but he can't tell me what part of Charlotte I'm in. So yeah, it can get very confusing. Yeah, so I want to be in Charlotte. That's just me. I want to be where things are happening. I like the accessibility of my location. I like the walkability of my location. I don't want to have to drive 30, 40 minutes to do anything I want to do. That's just me. But for a lot of people, they don't mind because they enjoy driving. The other kind I would say is that, like, it's diverse as far as like different types of people, I feel like. But I do feel like I notice a lot of people of the same ethnicity kind of stay together. And that's kind of like all over America to an extent. Like, you know, we talk about, oh, PWIs versus HBCUs. Some people say HBCUs are not realistic, the road isn't black. But you go to some PWIs and all the black people hang together. PWIs, for anyone that doesn't know, that's predominantly white institution. You'll go to them and all the black people hang together, all the Asian people hang together, all the, like, so it's kind of like, what's the point of us being around each other when we don't even chill with each other? And I kind of feel that's how Charlotte is. Like, oh yeah, the other day I was at a bar and there was a black girl with a white guy. I'm like, okay, I see you. Like, you know, I'm not gonna say you never see it, but I feel like it's very, like, I can literally go to a place in Charlotte and only see black people. I can go to a nice venue. I'm not even in the hood. I could say I want to go to this bar, a black-owned bar, only see black people. I can go to a black-owned lounge, only see black people. I can go to a black-owned restaurant, only see black people. So I feel like in a way, like, diversity is there, but like, people kind of stay to each other. And in a way, for some people, that's good. Like, that's one thing that drew me here, is that, like, I don't mind diversity. I want to talk to different people, but I also want to meet people like me, you know what I mean? Like, I also find that encouraging that I can meet like professionals and people doing well for themselves and they look like me, like I can relate to them. So it goes both ways. So that'll be, yeah, it could be a disadvantage and an advantage. Like, if you want to support black-owned business, it's a place to be. If you want to maybe start a business, I would say maybe this is the place to be. Let's talk about the airport, right? So Charlotte's airport sucks. I'm just gonna like keep it real. Like, going to New Jersey is reasonable, like places like that, New Jersey, New York. But when it comes to international travel, like, I'm just like, I miss Newark, I miss EWR. I did not take advantage of EWR enough. I did not take advantage of enough United flights. Like, Newark is a place to be compared to being in CLT. International flights are so expensive. Like, my sister and them are going to Island, and like their tickets are like $289. I was checking from Charlotte nonstop 500 and something. Even went up to 1,000. I was like, yeah, I'm not going on this trip. Y'all have fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's when it comes to doing international stuff down here, it's very, very pricey. Like, very, very, and you don't have that many options of airlines. But Newark is like, even if one place is pricey, like United held it down. That was its hub. Here, I guess American is the hub. But American international flights are nothing special. You know, compared to maybe being in Atlanta and you have Delta as the hub, they have much better flight options. I even have heard like Raleigh's flights are better. But if you're some of the big international traveler, it might be something that's really concerning to you, because if you want to always be on the move, like for me, it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to drive 2 hours to Raleigh for a flight. Even if I'm saving $100, I'm going to eat that $100. The airport is 10 minutes away from me. Like, to me, that doesn't make any, I'm not driving 4 hours to Atlanta for a flight to save a couple hundred even, because by the time that stress and that journey isn't really worth it, you know, but some people will do that. I'm not going to do that. Another con I would say is the crime. You know, like I don't really keep up too much with crime because I don't focus on negativity. I feel like sometimes if you look for negativity, that's what's going to come to you. So even if you want to ignore them, doesn't mean they're not happening. So the other day, like last week, someone got shot in Plaza Midwood, and that was an area that we were in like the week before, like a nice area, like, you know what I mean? Or like near my job, someone's always getting shot at nighttime, not in the daytime, like, you know. So it's just like you just have all this a lot. Like I cannot believe how much robbery and theft happens. Like, you know, sometimes like, wow, like my coworker were talking about like how many times her house got robbed in an apartment, like how many times her real home got robbed, you know, like so many. She's like, these were not bad areas. I was not in the hood. I was in ritzy areas and I kept getting robbed by people in the building. So that's the thing I always say, like safety is so important to me, like man or woman, especially for women. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, do not compromise on price. Do not compromise your safety because of price. I understand everyone wants to save their coins. Everyone wants to get a deal. Everyone wants to get a steal. But what is the purpose of going somewhere that's cheap, that's not safe? What is the purpose? Like, what point are you trying to prove? What is the sense? You want to go to your apartment and feel secure. Like, you want to feel safe. Like, that is so important. So I just really implore people to not always be worried. Like, money's like, trust me, I was worried about money, right? I got the best deal I could possibly get, but if you can cut down in other areas maybe and focus more on where you live, I just feel like that's just such a priority. That's my opinion. I tell you, when I was reading reviews, like when I was moving, you got Google reviews, like people got shot like in Sky House, like people got shot there in Uptown. Like these are like nice apartments that are expensive. So it's not just always even about price. It's just location. Like you want people, I was looking at this other apartment in university and then like people are confirming, yeah, my car has gotten broken into 5 times. My car keeps getting broken in. Like these are things you gotta look into. It's not just, oh, the apartment is 9 something, it's 1,000, let me move there. But sometimes I keep telling y'all, things sometimes are cheap for a reason. And it's not always, like I said, price, but it could be location. So you could be paying a lot of money, but be in a location where there's a lot of crime. It is possible. The other pro I would say about moving to North Carolina in 2021, the weather doesn't get cold, but this rain is something else. I work with grown women. The lady, one of my nurses, she's a Charlottean. So she was born and raised in Charlotte. And she's like, Nnena, I've never seen this much rain in all my 60-something years of life. Like when I tell you it rains 2 to 3 times a week, I do not joke, I do not play. Like I'm not exaggerating. Like, and it's not even April yet. This March, spring just started. You know, they always say spring shower, March, I don't know the phrase, but you know, like this is actually when it's supposed to really start raining in the spring. So I'm just like, imagine if it's already rained so much. Imagine how much more this spring it might rain. We'll see, maybe it won't. Global warming, like I always say, so many things that happen in the environment that things change, but the rain is kind of annoying. Like it's annoying. Like it rains a lot. Like even now, like you want to go out, you want to be lit, you want to do stuff. Like when it's raining and pouring, like who wants to go out? Not I. Last con I would say is that you know, with lower cost of living, I always say comes like lower pay. So some people, even if it evens out, they're not comfortable with seeing certain numbers. Like some people are just about the numbers. They don't care that their rent is half the amount that will be where they are. They don't want to see that they're making a certain amount of money. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Like some people, let's say they came from a place that their rent was $2,000 and now their rent is going to be $1,000, let's say, but they were making $150. They don't want to see that they're making $75. You get what I'm saying? Like they don't care how cheap the cost of living is. They're just like a threshold. Like I must be in that 6 figures. I must make this amount of money. I must make that amount of money. So if you're one of those people that's really stuck on the numbers, then Charlotte might not be the place for you, because I feel like a lot of people, like I've even done research on this, they are underemployed. Like they're getting paid less than what they really should be getting paid because of the area that they're in. Like maybe the same job somewhere else will pay them more, but we all know that's everywhere in America. Like that's cost of living. So You know, it just depends on the type of lifestyle you want to live. You can be fancy and still you could still get a $2,000 apartment a month in Charlotte. It is very possible, but would that be the typical price? Definitely not. Even to pay $1,500 for one bedroom, I feel like it's not even the typical price. I'm gonna put the average price of a one bedroom in Charlotte, North Carolina, according to, I think it's about, last time I checked was like 9 something. So I'm even paying more than average, right? So don't get people fool you when they're just showing you uptown and this place. That's not the typical Charlotte. That's not where the typical person is living in Charlotte. Let's be honest. The typical person renting an apartment in Charlotte is not living in uptown. That's for people in a different type of, or like that's people with different type of money, let's put it that way. Like the typical person is not gonna live in those type of apartments. Like people are still getting reasonable rent out here. It just depends on the area. Do you want to live more in the outskirts? Do you want to live I remember there was an area when I saw apartments in Coastwald, and that's, I guess that's still Charlotte, but I just did not like them. They were old, they had carpets on the floor, and it was like 800 something, and this is last January. So like it is like, you can still, there's apartments out there, but it was gross. I didn't like it. There's still apartments out there that you can get under 1,000. The issues, are you gonna like the location? Are you gonna like the amenities? Are you gonna like what it comes with? You know, that's really what it is. But overall, yeah, these are reasons, these are pros and cons, I'll say, reasons why you should or shouldn't move to Charlotte in 2021. You know, I just want everyone to know the pros and the cons and, like, you know, weighing their options. Like I said, I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. I'm not trying to make you be my client. I'm not a realtor, so I'm not gonna come out and not tell you things that I feel for real. Like, it's just not, because like, what do I have to lose? You know, I'm just going with my experience and how things have been going for me, what I can say, the good and the bad, what I've been observing from the people I work with, from the people I talk to, from, you know, looking into real estate, from just so many things. You know, you just have to take things a day at a time. And I definitely think, for me, I definitely feel like Charlotte's where I'm gonna be for a while, at least for now. I don't really see any other city in America that I'm really like pressed to go and try. You know, people say like Texas, I don't know. Like, I don't really see anywhere else right now that I would be that interested in experiencing. But you never say never. Nobody knows. Your opportunities, your job, your partner you may meet might be somewhere else. You have to move. But I definitely like Charlotte. I definitely think it has a lot to offer, but I don't think it's for everyone. Like, I met a girl that was just like, I don't think it's for me. And I just keep telling people, I'm just like, listen, you guys stop putting so much emphasis also too on the city. Yes, the city is important, but the second thing runner up to me is like 50-50 is like, what is your social circle like? Who are your friends? Where is your tribe? Have you found one? Like, no matter where you go, if you're sitting around the house all day by yourself, you're not gonna care for that place. Let's be real, unless you're an extreme introvert who doesn't even like people. But no matter where you go, if you do not have friends, you do not know people, you do not have a social circle, you just sit in the house and watch TV, you're not going to think that place is anything special. It's just normal. Like, it's normal. It's not just about where you move. It's not just about the location. Like, who do you know? Who do you vibe with? Where are your friends? And that is a hard thing when you're moving to different cities and you got to start all over again. It's we've been moving through the pandemic, so meeting people just in general is even harder. Like, you have less opportunities to meet people. Like, it's going out is weird. You got to wear a mask. You know, sometimes you don't even want to get too close to people. Like, you know, there's so many other factors that can make it difficult. But I say all the time, if we're in some small town in the middle of nowhere and I have my sister, my cousins, a couple of my friends, I feel like we would still have a ball. As long as the place is not cold. I can't be nowhere cold. Like, I would probably get over it. I came from Jersey, but I don't want to be anywhere cold. That's one thing I really do. But everything else you'll probably get over. But yeah, this video has been lengthy. One of the longest videos I think I have on this channel about Charlotte. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section about the pros and cons. Like, are y'all thinking about moving into Charlotte in 2021? You know, seems like people are still trying to make it here. I get messages all the time. And like, let me know why or why not. And I'll talk to you later.